Al-Hasan al-Basri, he said quite rightly that you will not find a true believer except that he holds his own soul to account, except that he's concerned with his own soul, and he questions every minute detail of his very own action. So he asks, with this food that I ate, what did I intend with it? With this drink that I had, what did I intend with it? And with this speech that I had, what did I intend with it? So he's holding himself to account for those very three basic things, because those very three basic things can be a cause or prevention for us not to fulfill our ibadah properly, or for our actual ibadah in itself. For example, when somebody is using his tongue, he's not using it for the sake of Allah, and in fact he's violating the very sanctity of his own brother. Perhaps he's backbiting, perhaps he's slandering, and via his very own drink, and his food, perhaps he's consuming so much that he ends up oversleeping, getting lazy. And with all of that, my dear brothers, when he starts to measure all of these, then this is where the person, he has this consciousness about his own taqwa. He can actually begin to put his own life on a scale and actually start to measure it up and ask himself, where does he really truly stand? How does he stand with Allah Azza wa Jal on Yawm al-Qiyamah? How is his resurrection going to be? This is the benefits, my dear brothers, of the Quran. The Quran in itself will tell us information about the Akhirah. It will tell us information about what happens to people on Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the Day of Judgment, in the hellfire, for those people who are eligible for the Jannah. So when we open up the Book of Allah, it should be an opportunity for us to find our own selves, which place we are presently settled, and in which place we're next to go. Because each and every one of us, we will leave this life. What you find in this life is simply a temporary measure. A temporary measure, or a temporary bus station, if you will, is a temporary pit stop. And that's why the Sahaba, they used to say that the death in itself is not the end, but rather the death is the first stage of the Akhirah. And if the stage of death, if you meet that in a good way, then what will come after that will be even better. And no one can really come to death in a good state except by righteous actions, by righteous belief, by righteous speech. Meaning, if the heart is good, then the mind itself, it will be good. Just as the hadith of the Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said there's a tiny piece of morsel, a piece of flesh within the own body. And if it is good, then the whole body will be good. And if it is bad, then the whole body will be bad. And he wasn't talking about the feet. He wasn't even talking about the hands. He wasn't even talking about the eyes. He was actually talking about the heart. If the heart is good, then the body will be good. The heart, in fact, as Imam Shafi, he described it, he said the heart it is the mind. That's why when we talk about at-taqwa, the Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in fact, he said at-taqwa ha-huna, ha-huna, ha-huna. He said the taqwa is in the heart, and he pointed 3 times the importance of the heart, and the position it's in will make us understand in which state we're going to meet Allah Azza wa Jal. And in fact, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, he spoke about who is the intelligent person. Who is the one who is truly wise and intelligent? Nowadays, everybody's chasing a degree. Everybody is after some form of a status. We're living in a status society where everybody, they like to study for 6 years just to have 2 letters next to their name, MA or BA or DR, doctor. But he said the intelligence person is the one who calls himself to account. Again, he said, again, he's reiterating what Hasan al-Basri he said. In fact, he's reiterating what even the Sahabi he said, such as Umar ibn Khattab. He said, account yourself before you're accounted. And weigh your own deeds before they are weighed. Measure everything before it's measured for you. Look to, for example, when we prepare our own food. When we prepare our own food, we don't just merely grab the food and simply throw all of the ingredients in without to measure them. For a simple dish. Why? Because we don't want to upset our own stomach. We don't want to cause any form of indigestion. So then why is it then that we're going to go to the Akhirah now? We're not going to put the right ingredients in. We're not going to put the right material in. We're going to not put in the right necessary measures, taking that precaution to save yourself from what? From fire. It's a nice hot sunny day, being described today as the hottest day in London. How would it look like, for example, if I came with a fur coat? You call me mad. They said this person's completely insane. How can he come with a fur coat in the middle of the sun? Why? Because I would have made preparation for this particular day. So for this particular day, I wore something which was light. And if I didn't want to, if I wasn't prepared, then I would have been completely burnt. So this is the believer. The believer, he has preparation. The believer, he makes necessary provisions for the hereafter. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, he went on and he said, the intelligent person is the one who calls himself to account and he prepares for what comes after death. So look at what he said. He never said he prepares for death. He said he prepares for what comes after death. And what comes after death is the barzakh, is the place of the unseen. Inside the grave, you'll either see your place within Jannah or Jahannam. After death is accountability. After death is the resurrection. After death is the scales where your deeds will be weighed. After death is the sirat which you will cross. And after that will be either Jannah or Jahannam. Think about all of these. The scales, the sirat, there's the resurrection, accountability, the barzakh. We're talking about a lot that we're putting on the line when we talk about not holding ourselves to account. When we don't hold ourselves to account, we are putting our own life on the line. Life on the line in the akhirah, where we're going to meet either Allah in a good state or in a bad state. And the Shaykh, he went on to say, and what have we prepared for after death? Because many people, what they do is they don't hold their self to account. And when they don't hold themselves to account, at the same time, you know what they have? When they don't hold themselves to account, they have a good, high expectation from Allah. When this is something which is completely not the state of the man who is the man of taqwa. The man of taqwa, he does good, but he has good expectation from Allah. He doesn't do bad and has good expectation from Allah. So we need to hold our souls to account and account ourselves before we're brought to account and make preparation for the akhirah, make preparation for the barzakh, make preparation for the resurrection, make preparation for when our scales will be brought forth, make preparation for when we cross the sirat, and inshallah, Allah will grant us the Jannah.